people join us, more people join us. So let's start with last month's meeting minute. I think it's included in the email. Is there any changes, any objections? Otherwise, we'll pass that. I think Principal Gussman is not present today. Is Ms. Nakamura here?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Do you want to give a report on behalf of the principal?
Okay. Are you guys ready? Okay, so
Yeah.
first, for the meal accounts, just because it's the end of the year, parents just need to make sure meal account balances are paid off. And they can go on that website, the easyschoolpay.com. Payments of cash or check can be made to the office. Credit card payments can be taken online, but there is some kind of service charge fee for that. Like a $25 transaction fee would total 63 cents. I think the biggest concern with the meal accounts as of now is for the students leaving Noelani. Like if you're transferring to a private school, so any kind of non-DOE school, they need to fill out a refund request. Forms will go out to the teachers next week. There are 3 options that the parents can do, which is 1, transfer whatever balance to a sibling that could still be in the DOE. You could donate it to the school, or you could just receive a straight out refund of whatever is left. Yeah. So if a refund is requested, they will likely be distributed no sooner than August 2021, so summertime. Also, I think there was an announcement, there was an email sent out about A+. So if you are interested in the A+ after school program for next year, it's very important to get an application and make sure you fill it out. They expect the demand to be high, so it's going to be on a first come, first serve basis. Only walk-in or mail-ins are accepted as far as the form. If you need more information, they do have a website online, or else you can contact Mr. Fukushima or Mrs. Lum. All right, graduation, 5th grade graduation. This year it's going to take place on Friday, May 28th at 8:30 a.m. So that's, I think, officially the last day of school. However, parents are not allowed to attend. It's only going to be the 5th grade teachers and the 5th grade students. However, we are planning to stream the event. So it's going to be a live stream. So this will be exciting. So everyone can watch it. They'll have access, some kind of, code or thing. So the students are going to get to watch it with their teacher in class. So parents, if you want to watch it, of course, then you would be able to log in. We'll have some kind of access code, and you can watch it live while they're doing the ceremony. So it'll be really interesting this year. And it's going to be in the Idea Center, which will be kind of like a nice view for everybody to see, kind of like the revealing of the Idea Center. And they're also planning to have a photo booth for the graduates inside the Idea Center. So it's kind of going to be a really fun, exclusive thing for the 5th graders, after this school year. It's going to be really nice. Also, they're planning to reveal the legacy gift, which they actually met their goal as far as, and they're working on having it revealed at graduation and having everything set up. So very exciting for these 5th graders. So we won't be having the cafeteria as we've had in previous years. So more information will be coming out later, but that's kind of the heads up to plan for that day for the official graduation ceremony. As far as the Idea Center, like we said, work inside is mostly done. There's still like a few issues here or there to hammer out, and it should be up and running for next year. So they'll get to use it for next year. On behalf of Mr. Gussman, he just wanted to say that he appreciated the PTA for including not just the teachers, but also the staff for the appreciation week last week. Everyone has worked hard for the benefit of our students this year. On behalf of the teachers and the rest of the faculty and staff, by the way, I just want to make a little note that we really, 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 really appreciate it. We felt really blessed, and we felt really appreciated from you guys as far as all that you guys did for us. And I just want to say thank you on behalf of all of us. And we felt like kings and queens. You guys really did an awesome job, and not just to communicate to the parents, what you guys did, all the time, the effort, that you guys, the little tokens, the food, we just really appreciate it. So on behalf of everyone, I just want to say thank you. We really loved it. So thank you. The last thing is we have a list of departing employees that either have left us already or are planning to leave by the end of the school year. And on behalf of Mr. Gusman, he just wants to say, thank you and mahalo to them. If it wasn't for them, it would barely be surviving this school year. So we have Noelani Koch, which is our long-term sub in first grade in room B8. We have Colleen Kamimura, who was a long-term sub in second grade in room B7. We have Christy Koga, who is a long-term sub fourth grade in room A5. We have Kainoa Ralita, who did our first grade distance learning online. We have Leanne Marita, who's also a former teacher, who helped with the first grade distance learning online. Our preschool teacher, Anise De Los Santos, will be leaving us at the end of the school year. So we wanted to tell her thank you. Galen Okumura, our head custodian, has officially retired. And so he will be, he has actually left already from our school. So we will be honoring him as well. Junior Rivera actually retired officially in December, and he was with our school for a very long time. So we really did miss him. Megan Lawson, one of our office assistants, left maybe a couple months ago, and Jan Kano also left a couple of months ago. So that's bittersweet, I guess, right? So it's nice. I mean, just want to thank, we had a lot of extra help this year, which made everything through. And we also have 2 teachers who will be leaving us for at least 1 year next year, but it's positive. It's a happy thing for them. And so we are working on finding replacements. Of course, it can never be replaced, but looking for replacements for them for next school year for classroom teachers. And that's Miss Luana Ligot and Mrs. Christy Nakagawara. So that was for positive reasons. So we wish them well. And that's it. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Ms. Nakamura. Wow, that's a lot of changes. We would definitely miss all of you guys, especially the teachers. Wow, and mahalo for all your efforts and your love for our kids. And I think my daughter was in Ms. Legal's class when she was in 3rd grade, and my son in Ms. Nakamura's class. We miss you guys so much. Oh my God. Okay, yeah, that is bitter and sweet. Okay, so next is our churches report. Is Jane here? I didn't see her.
Jen is still on the road. She's stuck in.
She's still on the road. Okay,
Yeah, so
we'll come back. We'll discuss budget anyway. Okay, so let's do the unfinished business. Sorry, my computer just locked. Stanford, can you pull out the meeting agenda?
You mind if I ask a question while you're pulling that up for Ms.
Yeah, go ahead, Brian.
Ms. Nakamura, is there any indication next year if everything's going to be in person, or are they still going to do distance learning?
As of now, there's no answers to those questions, unfortunately. So just gotta keep, I guess, watching, and we'll be, sending out notices and emails, of course, to all of you to keep you
Okay.
updated on what's gonna happen.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, we just mentioned Teacher Appreciation Week. So Christine, can you give us a more detailed update? And then I know a lot of yeah, a lot of us were on committee, I was not, but yeah, and a lot of us are not on the committee. So can you elaborate what had happened?
Sure, I'll speak on behalf of a committee, our co-committee, and my co-chair Ryan, who's here on the call. And it was really such a great experience planning and for this week, celebrating the hardworking teachers and staff. And I'm glad, Ms. Nakamura, thank you for sharing that you enjoyed the week and that you felt like kings and queens. And we wish you could have even done more, and you deserve all of it and more. And I know that sentiment is echoed by everyone here in this space and beyond. We got a ton of donations. So we actually got over $2,000 in monetary donations. In addition, the succulents, all of the staff got succulents that was donated, as well as the soft drinks and water, and all of the coffee bean gift cards were also donated. So we were able to treat the teachers to every day a little surprise. And our committee, I think Lauren's on the line, Lauren Young, she prepared, like, prepped 300 goodie bags that we came together one night, 10 of us, and put them together. But it was really the prep of Lauren who arranged that. And it was amazing. So every morning they came in, there was a little treat for them. And then on the Tuesday of Staff Appreciation Week, there was bento, and Waylon and Ryan helped organize that. And Waylon picked up the bentos were from Segoy, and then Lorelei organized the dessert boxes that the teachers also received. So it was a huge dessert box, like humongous cookie and great, really great treats, and that they got on Tuesday as well. And then on Friday, they got charcuterie boards. Each of them got individual charcuterie boards. And so it was really beautiful. We have a whole photo. I can drop a link I'll drop a link into the chat box after I stop talking with a link to the photos that we had throughout the week, showing all of the different little treats that we got. And it was just so much fun to celebrate. And the room parents, I want to give a special shout out to room parents who really got all of the parents involved in helping their children plan really like special things throughout the week, every day for the teachers. And I know that those letters and cards and words of appreciation meant the most to them. From what I heard, a lot of the teachers posted them up on the wall, and the drawings and the poems, and those words really, I think, will carry them through not just this year, but hopefully sustain them for many, many months to come, until next year's teacher appreciation maybe. So I just want to thank the room parents for all of that, and all of you who were involved. We actually, the total cost that we so figuring in the donations, I know that we were given an expanded budget of $3,000, but with the donations, we only spent $1,284.71. So we came in under budget, and I think had a really nice week. And so I can't wait to do it again next year. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you, Christine. I know my son said on Monday, Mr. K's desk, 2 desks cannot cover all the letters and poems.
I love that.
Yeah, he's really flattered. Yeah, it's really cute. Those little cards and some poem also has typo in it, but it's love.
So much love.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome job. Thank you, guys. Okay, I wanted to save the budget to the last, because we're probably gonna spend a lot of time on that. So nominations, we did pass out a PT announcement to recruit a secretary for next school year, since Lorelei is on her 2nd year term. So if you know anyone's interested to serve 2nd year, or to serve for the next school year, let us know, and then we can release Lorelei. And Lisa, right? Lisa T, her daughter gonna go to Maryland next year, so we're also looking for webmaster. Lisa, would you like to talk a little bit more about the roles? Is your daughter on 5th grade? she's
She's
graduating?
gonna be in the 4th grade. And
Okay.
but so the web page is really easy. You don't need to know HTML. You don't need to know web design. Marty's daughter made it about 3-4 years ago. She did an awesome job. All I do is update it really. I've turned certain pages into blog pages. So you just add a new post when you want to add new content. You don't have to move things around. So it's a really perfect volunteer position for somebody who sits in front of their computer all day. Because if somebody says, hey, I need to post this, just log in 15 minutes, post, make a little blog post, and you're done. And the links, other links don't really change all that much. But it's really easy, really easy volunteer thing. But if somebody does have website experience and wants to change things up and do all kinds of things, they can do whatever they want with it. But I sent Maria a whole list of instructions on how to log in. And there's a separate PTA Webmaster Gmail account that you use to log in. So you don't have to put your personal information in there at all. Everything's through that PTA Webmaster Gmail account. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa.
It is paid through June 22nd. So if somebody doesn't step forward, if somebody else can throw their credit card information in there before June 22nd, that's when it expires. And I'll post those photos from this Teacher Staff Appreciation Week too. I also posted photos from the old Jogathon and the old Mayfair and Craft Fair on those respective blog pages. If people have more pictures that don't have kids in them that they want to post, I think I go back until 2017. If they have pictures back from, years past and they want to post, just email that Noelani PTA Webmaster at gmail.com and we can post those pictures too. But if you want to look at those pages, there's mainly pictures of like hakules and things like that. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Lisa.
Very
Is
nice
the
working
credit
with you all.
charge? So I have one question on the credit charge. Is the charge, is it for the website or for Weebly?
So Weebly hosts our website, and they also
okay.
also help us register the domain name. So there's 2 charges every year. One is for who has the domain name noelanipta.org. That's the one that we had a really hard time transferring over from the old website domain. So you pay just to have that domain name, and it's only like $15 a year or something. Everybody does it. And then you pay Weebly for hosting the website, which means you storing it on their servers, giving people access, and also their blog editor, which is really nice and simple and easy to use. It's just clicking on pictures. You don't have to type in code at all. But all of that is included in the other price. And what's also included in that price is we have the second tier, like the premium tier. So we can do the e-commerce, which is how we sold the Spirit cards. And you can do donations through there too, I think. But we do it directly through PayPal. But if you do donations through Weebly, it would have to be through their Square account, and it still charges that fee. If you do it through PayPal, it's like twice as much service fee.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
You're
so
welcome.
we have a deadline by the end of June. Hopefully you can find someone. But Lisa, thank you so much. Great mahalo, and great job on all these website updates. And there's no way you can roll out any program without the website, right? During COVID, it is our main channel to launch all these events. So thank you so much for
You're
all your
welcome.
help through the years.
You're welcome. It was very nice working with you all.
All right, so we can move on to committee report, and after we finish the committee report, we're gonna go to budget. For box top, Lisa Imai is not able to. He's had some volunteer. I think she said that the April check gonna come in, so she's gonna check the box. And for bylaw, Danielle, do you have any updates for bylaws?
There's no updates for bylaws. I think the only question I had was whether or not we wanted to include like an investment policy, but I don't think we ever really, this wasn't really the year to talk about it. So maybe we can look at that going into next year over the summer.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And craft fair?
Okay, so I did have a really brief email exchange with Principal Gusman, and there are kind of two options on the table, and it really is going to depend on what happens with COVID as we move into the fall. So the first one is, very limited or a more limited in-person event and spread it out further. Try to use some of that lanai space by the Idea Center and part of the maker space, sort of use the perimeter of the buildings, fewer tents. That's one option, right? And do some food, but maybe, definitely no games and all this kind of stuff like before, rides and things like before. Okay, so that's option one. And that's the preferred. But the backup is if we go all online again, we're going to try to do a more robust marketplace where people can actually pick individual items that they want to buy. And then we'll be able to package and distribute through Noelani like parking lot, right? So we can at least collect, assemble, and maybe throw in some kind of, Noelani craft fair food items, like a pre-sale, pre-order, and then we can make it in the cafeteria with a more limited team. So that would be kind of the second option. But that's, again, it's still a little rough because we just don't know what will happen.
Yeah, it's still quite uncertain. Well, sorry to put Miss Nakamura on the spot. Do you or Miss Legault, do you guys have any insight of what the DOE gonna do for next year for the major events? Are they still gonna? No indication, right? They haven't changed anything yet. Okay.
I think first step is to figure out how we're gonna open school. I think that's step one. How are the kids, like Ryan asked, like, are we going to offer distance learning again? Are we, the spacing and everything? I think that has to be taken care of first. And then use of facilities and those things will be, come into play after that. Yeah. So we'll see.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's still quite uncertain. And with the cases and different variant strains in India, you can't really know what to expect, right? I know that my friends in Singapore, they expect another lockdown very soon. So yeah, really, you don't know what's gonna happen. Okay, so next one. Yeah, I think that's the same thing with Jogasan, right? Stanford. Yeah, for all the major events. So membership. Ryan, do you have any updates or anything you want to share?
Yeah, sure. So there are no new members this past month, which is not a surprise because we're at the end of the year. Maria, last meeting, I don't think you're on, but I mentioned that I won't be doing membership next year. A bunch of things came up, and it's just kind of the perfect storm. And so I won't be able to do that. So I know I've been emailing with you, but this will be my last month as membership chair. I do recommend, however, I apologize that I don't have any recommendations, but I think it's mostly because I'm a new parent. This year has been unusual, so I've not really met a lot of people except for the people on this conference, which I think are already occupied and pretty busy with PTA. So, but my recommendation is to attempt to find a replacement sooner than later. And I only speak from experience because I picked up membership maybe 2 months into the school year. And I'll say that it's very difficult to pick up the job at that point. I think it's much easier to be seated in the position going into the school year and now being very organized and having, you know, your program and plan set up. I'm definitely happy to work with whoever it is moving forward. But I announced on the last meeting that before I leave membership, I wanted to kind of renovate the program with a tiered system. And Lorelei I saw she put on the minutes, but just to reiterate, I wanted to break it down into a Gecko Club with memberships up to $50, Noelani Club between 50 and 100. And then my thought is would use Woodlawn, so Woodlawn Club from $100 to $500 membership, a Nui Nui Club from $500 to $1,000, and then Diamond from $1,000 to $2,500, and then donations up to $2,500 Emerald Club. I don't know, I brought it up last meeting, but I don't know if that requires a vote or something that just as chair, I can just start enacting. What are your thoughts, Maria? Is that something that you could approve here or put up for vote? Oh, sorry, I think you're muted.
Yeah, I think we need a vote from the board. And if you can draft something and then we can send out to the board and do an e-vote, then that would be good.
Okay.
Yeah. And because, sorry, I didn't read the minute very carefully. I thought you're gonna stay on the chair until we find a replacement. But if this is the last month, yeah, we need to find someone really soon. And then maybe the new chair will review the proposals and see if it's something that he can or she wanted to implement. But definitely we need a written proposal, and then we will I will distribute to all the board members, and then we'll do an e-vote on that.
Okay, and I'm definitely willing to work with whoever that is, you know, over the summer or provide a good transition. But I will say that I'm not, just because I'm not the membership chair, I still plan on being involved and logging in as much as possible and helping out, kind of like with Teacher Appreciation Week. So anyways, that's it.
No, thank you, Lorraine. You have done an awesome job as membership chair, actually, and helping with all the other events, with craft fair, teacher appreciation, all the other events. And thank you for checking the mails for us and for all the emails. So all the things you have done, like way beyond the membership chair. So thank you so much. Okay, I think we're done for the reports. Did I miss anything? If not, then we'll go back to the treasurer's report. Is Jen on? Not yet? Oh,
Yeah,
I see.
I'm
Hi,
on.
Jen.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Hold on. Sorry, I have to get my document here. I'll just, sorry, I don't have the screen, so I'm not sure if the treasurer's report is showing.
Yes, Stanford, can you pull up the treasurer's report?
Okay, I see it. Thanks, Stanford. Okay, so this is for the month of April. And okay, the only income we had, sadly, was a little bit of bank interest. And then the expenditures, we wrote checks to the teachers. So this was the like 100% of the profit from the Spirit cards. So that went out. And then Maria, just some reimbursement for the face mask design. And then our monthly bank fees. So that was it for April. I do have quite a bit in May that I don't have on me, but there were quite a bit of deposits I made, probably because I cleared out the treasurer's box, but there was quite a bit of money for membership, additional membership. Teacher appreciation was another one, like Kristen mentioned. Gosh, I think those were the big ones. And then the budget report is just a reflection of the few transactions that we've had in April.
Hey, Jen, it's Ryan. If you don't mind, I noticed that I should have probably paid more attention previously, but the bank fees, is that something that's pretty standard for businesses? For
You know, I don't know. I know, I think Danny, you might still be on. We had a conversation about this a couple months ago. So with Danny's help, we were able to eliminate one of the fees. So generally, gosh, I think the other fee was maybe around the same amount. So generally it's double. And then I think sometimes a merchant fee pops up, and I don't know if that's related to maybe the number of transactions in a month. But I believe this $14.95 is our standard fee.
Yeah, and I only asked because I see we have $200,000 or probably more, 237, which is quite a bit of money. I'm wondering if we shop around or somehow, not that $14.95 is a lot, but I do think it just seems like we have a lot of money that we're basically lending to the bank. And I don't know, I don't deal with business accounts, but my personal checking, I know I don't pay any fees. So just something I thought I'd bring up.
Yeah, no, that sounds good. Maybe that can be part of the evaluation in the summer if we're able to look at additional investment opportunities.
So Jen and Ryan, there is a merchant fee, and it's because we're using the account to like make things like craft fair and the transactions that go directly into it and out of it and those kinds of stuff. I did talk to the bank about the fact that we're a nonprofit and, you know, whatever they can do to kind of cut those fees. We did talk about trying to do this investment thing. For nonprofits, it doesn't work exactly the same as like our personal investment accounts. And there's not a lot of good ones right now on the market that are at like buying level prices. So they, you know, they're advising all nonprofits to kind of hold on that for a little while until the market sort of corrects itself. But generally, you know, I think the idea of getting the fees down and stuff, yeah, I mean, I'll talk to them too again about, you know, try to eliminate. I didn't look at this for a while, so I'll talk to them about that.
And I only bring it up because I look at the amount of transactions we have, and I personally, in my checking account, my personal checking account, I transact a lot more, and not money wise, but just the amount of transactions a month. And I don't pay anything. But to touch upon the investment that you mentioned, Danny, I know you and I talked on the phone, but Maria, I just wanted to mention that I know annuities have had a bad rap in the past in some respects, but with 200-something thousand, I think that might be a good opportunity to kind of waterfall annuities and have them expire, like, you know, invest 10 grand at a time with a maybe 3-year expiration, and every year we're expiring new annuities so that we have constant money flow going through. It's a very low risk investment. So if you want, I do have people that I can talk to at Merrill Lynch and TD Ameritrade to see what opportunities we have. So just let me know if that's something you're interested in.
I think you have to do the investment statement first and get that approved because we're a nonprofit. It's not quite the same.
Yeah, no problem. So whatever prerequisites is fine. I'm not saying we need to do it now, but it's something I guess to throw on the radar as far as investment.
And maybe one
I
more
think
quick thing
if-
I'll add on to what Ryan's saying, because this is coming up on a lot of nonprofit boards right now that are sitting on cash. Kind of have to have a strategy for what you're trying to do with your money and your investment. It's very helpful to determine what should go into cash, what should go into investment, how you're going to spend it out rather than just accumulating. There needs to be kind of a bigger financial strategy that'll help set up, what your goals are for fundraising, et cetera. But that, again, I think it's just happening to a lot of nonprofits right now. So if it's something that we can discuss in the summer and sort of be ready to pitch to the board next year or whatever it is to the general membership, I'd be very open to being on that talk story.
Yeah, I totally agree, Danny.
Yeah, I think if people with expertise or connection like Ryan, someone can form a committee and then research deeper on the topics and what we need to do, and then present something formal to the board, and then that will be helpful because our church do have our endowment fund, and we have the investment strategy, and then they do certain portion for stock and certain portion for fixed income. So, and they hire a third party to do the investment, of course, fees involved. So there are choices out there with different fee charges. So there's something to do. And yeah, so if enough people is interested, and then we can form a committee, and then we can do some structured research, and that's more doable to make it live.
Maria, I'll do some homework this month, and I'll have some information for you next month.
Okay, that'll be awesome. Thank you, Ryan. So Jane, can you also talk about the budget versus actual? Because we're gonna based on that for our budget as well. And Stanford, can you pull that out? Yeah, thank you. So Jane, is the number pretty much set for this school year? The actual for what we have and the difference?
Hold on, Maria. Can you repeat the question? What do you mean by is it set?
So I'm looking, yeah, I mean,
Oh.
there are still a lot of, I don't think we have any more income coming in, but there are still a lot of expenses that's not recorded here.
I don't think so. I think
Okay.
the only other thing, gosh, might be the 5th grade gift.
Which is a pass-through, right? So it doesn't reflect in our financial statements anyway.
Yep. I don't, yeah, I think that was
Yeah,
the
we
only
don't-
thing
yeah.
that had a significant amount of money.
Okay. Sounds good. So I think we can start our budget discussion 6:39. I think we can wrap it up in about 20 minutes. So with the expectation that you haven't changed anything and uncertainty of whether we can do in-person education teaching or online for all the major fundraising events. So we suggest, well, the board officer, we kind of running through this idea of we just keep the same budget as last year. So last year, what we did is we took 2019's budget, which is quite similar to normal years. And for the income and expenses, we took about 1/3 of everything. And we scratched those expenses that gonna happen, that not gonna happen, like some in-person events, which were not gonna happen, then we scratch them. But we leave all the teacher support, school support, students event support, all of these support expenditure the same as normal years. So officers propose to do the same for the next coming year. I think it's a conservative approach. We might have a relatively normal year next school year. If we can make more income, that's awesome. And it still look better than having a huge negative number, which we had it right here, right? But which is okay, because when we did that, no one knows what to expect. And we just wanted to save and keep all the school support expenditure items the same as normal years, which we're gonna do the same this year for the next school year. So is there any thoughts, objection, or any suggestions? Just wanna open to all of you guys.
Sorry, Stanford, can you slowly scroll the page up a little bit? Thanks. So like in this case, you're Maria, you're saying that like Jogathon, you're still gonna project income of 30,000? Because you're gonna carry the same
unless
budget.
yeah, unless the chair or you guys have any other thoughts. Well, Jogathon actually, because it's pure donation, and then we didn't cut actually, because we usually make 30 grand, right? So, okay, so I was wrong then. We didn't cut Jogathon, we cut the Mayfair. Yeah, we cut the Mayfair income, or cut a craft fair income. So Jogathon, we should do the same then. We should cut one third.
Right.
Because
I think
we
the
don't have
idea,
any income this year.
right, the idea last year was that we thought that that was something that could happen even though parents weren't going to be allowed on campus. But this year it ended up just being just run in-house. So I think it actually, with Jogathon, it's sort of an all or nothing. You might actually go down to 0 for income, even though there might be an expense. I don't know.
Do you think you could do it? You could hold it and say, if it's not like a in-person, like a regular year Jogathon, that through Mrs. Lum, we can arrange for some other PE activity and still try to get the donations? Because kids right now are back on campus, so could do something.
Mhm.
Hey guys, I think we're looking at the wrong document.
I was going to say it doesn't match up with mine.
Yeah, what's pulled
really?
up is the current budget through April, right, for this year, and there was a separate document for the 21-22 school year. And
I think it was called proposed or revised.
Okay, let me look for that.
but we did previously discuss decreasing all of the major events by 1/3, like you guys mentioned. So craft fair, Mayfair, and then let me see. Yep, Jogathon was cut by 1/3 as well.
But so we're talking about the proposed budget for next year, is that correct?
Yeah.
So I think,
yes.
I mean, it's all dependent on COVID, but if, let's just hypothetically say that we return to some sort of normal, then these figures might not be way off. Obviously, if still constrictions and restrictions based off of the COVID environment at the time, then we'll need to revise these figures. But I don't think it's a bad thing to have historical, benchmarks to aim for, hoping that, the environment will ease up and we can execute, how we normally would. And then if it's revealed that we're further restricted, then now we can cut some of the benchmarks or expectations down, especially in light of the fact that we do have a pretty robust balanced budget right now. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you agree?
Well, so Ryan, just to clarify, are you saying that the current budget, which we have for this year, is good for next school year's budget?
Yes, or basically we're talking about slashing, like let's say Jogathon, for example, down to 0 or maybe a third of what it's at now. I guess I'm just saying that I don't think it's a bad thing to leave that $30,000 goal up there for next year, with the assumption that we're going to execute Jogathon like we did in the legacy days. The only thing that stymied it this year was just the COVID environment.
Yeah, that's the best situation, right? So everything will go to normal and then we can still have the normal income. But in light of, we don't know what's going to happen. So that's why we wanted to be conservative instead of having a huge deficit at the end of next school year. If we can have, like we budget 1/3 of what's the normal year would make for Jogathon, and then we end up making 30 grand, and then we're 20 grand over than budget, right? So that'll be much better than 20 grand negative. That's what we mean by being conservative.
I guess that works. I just worry that the expectations may drop. Once we start throwing down lower figures, the expectation of what we're going to make, may not be as motivational as that $30,000 figure. And like I mentioned, especially in light of the fact that we have 200,000 in the bank, I do think that there is some room for not making our bogeys this year or next year. But again, that's just me throwing out my opinion. So I wouldn't be offended if you don't take it.
Well, Stanford, what do you think? I think it's the same amount, right? So this documents, I think we for this year we didn't cut the budget. We didn't use 1/3 of the normal year. We just put 30 grand because we think it's gonna happen, but actually this year we made nothing.
Right.
So yeah, so Stanford, I think it's, yeah, go ahead.
And Stanford, do you mind scrolling down to expense? Because on here it looks like it's all income.
Yeah.
Okay, that's helpful to see where our expenses are. So ultimately, let's say Jogathon doesn't execute as it has in legacy years, then the expenses will basically get zeroed out as well. Is that a correct statement?
Yeah.
Kind of like this year.
Yeah, we don't have any expenses this year or income for Jogathon.
The hard copy I have in front of me, you guys, is still different. Laura, Lorelei, which one do you have in front of you? Do you have one with notes in the
Yeah, I
column?
have the in the column. I have like a, for the craft fair income, I have 22,100, and then 2/3 in the notes column. Is that the one you're looking at, Jen?
That's the one I'm looking at, and I think that one is a revised version of what we're showing here. So, and I know we're running out of time, Maria. I don't know if, I know we had meant to sort of meet prior to this meeting, but is there a way we could vote perhaps at the next meeting and try to have a meeting in between?
Well, I think what we're gonna do, what we're gonna do is we set the general guidelines for the budget, and then after the meeting, you can send out the finalized budget for next year, and then we can do an e-vote. Yeah.
Okay.
So
okay.
If the general consentment is to just take 1/3 of all the income and expenses, well, basically the same as this year, but for Jogson, it seems we didn't take out anything. So for Jogson, we're going to do the same 1/3 of the income and 1/3 of the expense.
It's actually 2/3, Maria. Sorry, it's a 1/3 decrease. So the value that's on the budget is 2/3 of the 2019. I think we wanted to decrease it by 1/3.
Oh, is it what we did for last year?
What did we do this year? For the current year that we're in, right?
Yeah. Because we proposed to be the same as the current year, right?
Maria, if we're still kind of looking at the budget numbers, would it be okay if some of the committee chairs turn in numbers for
that'll be great. Actually.
Okay, I apologize. I didn't do mine earlier, but I kind of made an estimate.
So the usual procedure is the treasurer will send out the draft version. Usually it's the same thing as the current year. And then the chair will review and submit any changes to the treasurer prior to the meeting. And then when we have the meeting, and then we have the draft, which is usually the same as the current year, right? And all the changes that the chair proposed, and then we will discuss. And that's the usual procedure. Yeah. But if we cannot finalize today, we can do it next time. And we're kind of short on time. And also we have a couple of big items. Maybe it's good to push it to the next meeting. I think Principal Gussman had talked about for PTA to fund the curtains in the cafeteria because it looks really, really ugly. So I think his quote based on what he got is about 6,000, right? And discussion. Is it 6,000, Stemper?
I think it was 5,200, but that quote was, I think, a little old, so it could change. But yeah.
Yeah. So so I think their discussion that the 5th grade parents gonna fund it, but they don't think they can raise enough funds for that, right? So that's something that Principal Gussman requests PTA to fund for next school year, which we think PTA totally support that. So there should be a budget item for that. If we don't have one already, it could be in the supplies, but we probably don't have 5,000. So if we have an existing budget line, then we should increase it to 6,000. And if not, then we have to add one. And then he also requests for some allegation for the idea center, right? Stanford, would you elaborate on that? Because you had a discussion with him.
I ran into Principal Gussman earlier today, who apologized for not making it, but he did indicate that they do have a budget for furniture for the idea center, but they don't have, and he doesn't know how much it's even going to cost. They don't have really a budget for filling the center with technology like TVs or Apple TVs or computers even. So he would like to request a significant amount, but I did talk briefly with some of the other board members, and I agree that if we could have further discussions with Principal Gussman and some of the chairs, I think would be very helpful in coming up with a solid number that, the PTA, we can pass on to the PTA general membership to, to fund. But he would like to seek significant funding to get the Idea Center outfitted in the first year. So yeah, I think having further discussions with Brian would be very helpful, and not voting on this today would be great.
Can I add one thing? Is there a possibility, because I know last year, teachers submitted their, I guess they called it wish list that, that one year to help support their teaching in the classroom. With the uncertainty of the opening of the school year, I'm wondering if administration has any type of, request to support an opening of school that may not look very close to normal. So what I'm getting at is like, is there a need for, a line item for emergency PPE and stuff like that, and at our last meeting, Lisa Imai brought up, to focus, I guess, on, or she asked us what budget or what amount are we comfortable at having our budget, our bank account, projecting all of these fundraisers and in the uncertainty and what it's going to look like. What are we comfortable having in the bank account at any given time? And then focusing on what the kids need, what the teachers need, and not to put, the curtain down, but if the priority is somewhere else, like I'm all for supporting the funding of whatever the IDEA Center needs, but, are there any other student or teacher needs that would be more of a priority, given that we don't know what our fundraising options are going to be next year? Although I was pretty hopeful. Danny, correct me if I'm wrong, you had a discussion with Mr. Gustman, and you mentioned something about being able to distribute from campus, and that, if we did a drive-through type of thing, that might be a possibility. We don't have to, stand in Manoa Marketplace parking lot.
You didn't like
if
that
the
part?
school is,
No, just kidding.
but if that's going to be, if there's going to be a support there with doing a drive-through, then yeah, maybe we can reimagine some of these fundraisers. But with the uncertainty of whether or not we're going to get the support of using even just the parking lot, then we need to forecast that maybe we're not going to have many fundraisers or a fundraiser at all next school year. Anyway, that's how I'm feeling. But like asking for the $5,000 to fund a curtain when we don't know what the fundraiser, outcome is going to be next school year, and looking at other types of expenses that our teachers need and that the students need. First grade asked for virtual access to an educational site. I'd rather fund that. So, I would love for the teachers to submit their wish list to support their teaching in the classroom for next school year.
Yeah,
It's
thank
kind
you,
of-
Laura Lee.
It's difficult to have the discussion about budget and wish lists and things without him. So Kristen or Ms. Legault, I don't know if, since you're the teacher representatives on the committee, I don't know if maybe you can just help send the message if he is able to come to the meetings and pitch, the technology for Idea Center or Curtin. I think it would be a lot more productive, because I think right now we're just guessing and sort of postulating what he wants and the rationale. But I think we really need, a real discussion with him if we're going to, be able to donate funds to that.
Do we have like a grant form or a, to kind of address some of these questions about like what comes up, how to help prioritize, be a little bit more formal, especially if we're starting to ask for larger dollar amounts, just so that like a teacher is tagged to a certain grant or funding request? I mean, I know we don't have a finance committee, but maybe in light of kind of all of these questions, whether it's the investment issue, how do we ask for money? How do we tag priorities? How do we look for ways to spend out so we know what to fundraise and, manage the cash? Is there any chance of forming a
So
finance committee?
Yeah, well, Danny, I think that's a great suggestion. That's what we don't have traditionally. It's how, at least when Dr. Mahoy is here, when we have those big items, right? Like the building a playground, and the procedure, the informal procedure is the teacher or the principal will come to the meeting. They will have a formal presentation of what the project is going to be, and what's the expectation of the expenditure, and what's the expectation of PTA going to do. And then we will form a committee, or we'll form a couple of people in formal kind of a group to be in charge of that project. And then we'll have a kind of strategy, what to do, and timeline to roll it out. So these are kind of the traditional procedure, how PTA process all these requests. So I totally agree with what Daniel and Jen was talking about. If Mr. Gusman can be present, we need to have formal proposals of what these requests are, and what items are, and what kind of needs, and what's the expectation from TTA. I think as what Danny proposed, having a finance committee is going to help a lot, and to formalize those procedures and then prioritize these tasks, that will help. So I think if anyone's interested, it can be, we can form a committee, and then it can be in place next school year. But yeah, I think what Jen just mentioned, if Ms. Legault and Ms. Nakamura can pass the message to Principal Gusman for these large items, we definitely need his presence and tell us what it's about. Because we as a board have fiduciary duty to the entire PTA. We can't just do very informal, adding a line item to be 50 grand for the idea center. It just, we cannot do that in this informal way. Okay, so I think time is 7:02, and so the plan is so the office are going, what the draft budget going to be, and Jen will send out to all the chair, committee chair, for the chair to review. If you have any changes, then please email to Jen and the officers, and then we can discuss the next PTA meeting. Our goal is to approve and have a finalized budget at the next meeting. And then for all the idea centers and teachers' wish lists and PPEs and curtains, the officers will have separate emails and communication with Gusman and Ms. Legault and Ms. Nakamura. And hopefully we can find a solution how to prioritize and put them in place for the next year school budget. Anyone else have any other questions or anything I missed? Nope, we're good. Okay, sounds good. Good night, everyone. And then I'll see you guys in June 10th. It's the next meeting, and we're gonna have the budget finalized next time. Okay, bye, everyone. Bye. So Miss Nakamura, since it's only 4 of us, so do you have any insights if Brian gonna ever be in the PTA meeting, or he's just too overwhelmed?